In order to glue these legs together, we have to have flat faces, and right now these faces are not flat. To get flat faces, we are going to use first the joiner, then the planer. We have a kind of a small board we're dealing with here, which can be dangerous unless you're using the big push stick here. And again, it says, use me for face jointing. So what that's gonna look like is we're gonna put that piece of wood just like that. You'll see the nose of the push stick is hanging well over the board there. So what's going to happen is that nose of the push stick is going to push the blade guard out of the way, and then with our hands out of the way, we're able to joint that face. So I'll get the dust collectors on, I'll make a few cuts, and then do the rest off camera. What you're looking for here, you don't need it to be flat totally. About 90% flat is what you want. Can you see this little spot right there? See how that's not flat, the rest of it's more or less cleaned up. Same thing here. We have this spot that's not quite flat, but the majority of the board is cleaned up. That's what we're going for, is the majority of the board, because the planer will accept a flat board that's looking about 90% flat. So off camera, I'll do the rest. Okay, I got all the boards flat on one face here. You can see again that we don't have 100% flat like on this board here. We see that we have like some roughness from the sawmill still. That's okay. We're about 90%, 80% flat on all of them. I got an X on all the boards to tell me what side is flat as I'm planing them. So with them all kind of flipped on face here, I'm gonna run my finger across and try to pick out the thickest one that I feel. I think this is the thickest one. So I'm gonna set the planer for the thickest board. And again, to do that review from the planer video, I'm gonna run the camera down here. Get you in close to here. I'm going to set the distance between that top line right there on the scale and this metal piece right there to the thickness of that board. So right there is too high. I'm going to push in the wheel. Turn that down. That's going to lower the table. Check it again. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to put the piece of wood on the metal, slide it up there, see if it's about even with that line, which it is. So I'm going to run all these boards through and clean up one face. Hopefully the boards, where's that handle? Oh, here it is. Hopefully the boards will be thick enough that we can use 3 per leg, but I have an extra per leg just in case, because this wood was kind of rough to begin with. So again, I'll just run these all through, and I'm going to give this a half a turn to go up, just so those in-feed rollers, or 1 full turn, just those in-feed rollers have some board to grab onto. So let me see if I can get the dust collector on. The E-stop goes off, the green button goes on. Alright, the board's stuck. Well, what do you do when the board's stuck? Come get me. I'm gonna turn the machine off. I'm gonna wait till that machine is totally stopped. And then I'm gonna lower the in-feed table. And then pull the board out. And then show you why that happened. So with my hand on the machine, I can feel that it stopped. I'm going to lower the in-feed table, count the cranks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Use another piece of wood to poke out that one. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened here. I wasn't trying to take too much off. You can see a little bit right there. But what happened was the in-feed roller, which is the Mark's left room here. So you remember this machine's pulling this board in. But sometimes because these boards aren't flat on top, they get stuck. So that is more common with boards that are, like I said, not flat on the top. If we had boards that had parallel faces to begin with, or even faces, that probably wouldn't happen. So what I'm gonna do now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna try it again. This time, I'm gonna put a board right behind it, so these boards pretend like they're a long board, even though they're not. So the longer boards won't get stuck in there as easy. Again, the X goes down. Last one stuck. So I'll grab one of the other offcuts. So that happened, and that happens, especially on the rougher boards. So if you're in that situation and you don't feel comfortable doing that, which is perfectly acceptable because it's kind of hard to do, come get me. I'll help you out. The thing you've got to be careful for is as you're feeding it through and you're pushing through, you don't want this board here to twist that board, so you got to be careful that doesn't happen. And so I'll just continue that process until we have faces that are flat and gluable, because right now they're not gluable because they're still rough. And I'll do that off camera. Before I start planing them all, I'm going to raise up the table 1 turn, 2 turns, send them through, and every time I'm done cutting all the boards, I'm going to raise them up 2 turns on the table to raise the table up so that we can keep taking material off until they're flat on both faces. Okay, they're all ran through the planer now, so nice and flat on both sides. And measuring these, I think we can get the 3 that I hoped out of for one leg. So 1.5 inches is going to be right here. Oh, camera person. All right, so 1.5 inches right here on the tape measure. And we're over 1.5 inches, that's good. So we have these here, we can glue them up like this, or we can trim up one edge first. I think I'm gonna trim up one edge on the joiner. So to do that, what I'm gonna do is set up on the joiner like this. I'm gonna bring my fence in a little bit. Use my little push stick here. And then this is the important part. Okay, use a little push stick. We're gonna push like that. And then when we get to about here with the left hand, we're gonna bring it around the knife guard. So let me get the dust collectors on and I'll show you what that looks like. Keep an eye on this hand right here. It goes around. So now we're going to clean up one of those edges. I'll do that on all the boards now off camera. Okay, we got all the boards jointed up on the edges, flat on the face. We still have a rough edge there. We're not going to worry about that for right now. And we're ready to glue these up. We'll see you in the next video.